Welcome back, my dears and my darlings, to the Legends of Annixter. As always, I am your hostess, the DM, Persephone, Siren, the Book Dragon, and with me are my darling players, the lovely Juniper,
Hello! Arianna Rose song at your service. How may I help?
and with us is also the good Sir Nofuh.
Hello, everyone. Oh, crap, sorry, stubbed my toe.
Okay.
Second.
Then with us is the charming and adorable Gnocchi.
Hi, hello. Atlas is ready for duty.
And last but most certainly not least is the chaotic and charming Shlab.
Riley O'Nelly wants to go talk to the bear now.
And speaking of bears, the last we had left off, you three in particular had found yourselves into the Golden Kangaroo Tavern, where one of you had ordered a meal, and one of you did some arm wrestling, and then another two of you were in fact looking at the notice board to see if there were any jobs worth of interest. You returned to the table and you brought forth three posters with you. One involving a shaman in need of some help. They were offering a reward of 12 gold, and if anyone was interested, to follow the brown bear to their home. And one of you, specifically Mr. Riley, you noticed that in the forest, on the very edge near the tavern, you could see glimpses of a brown bear sort of trotting around, being a very amicable bear, doing as bears do. And then it is Arianna who noticed a missing cat poster. It advertised one missing Singapore cat with a 73 silver reward, and if the cat is found, it is to be returned to one Dame Josephina. Now, both of you have returned
Wanna rescue
with
the
these
kitty?
posters. Yes, but the one that caught your attention the first time was one that read, Help Wanted, in bold red letters. The House of Gargoyles. 70 silver reward. See Olivia Grimshaw. Now, you two brought back the posters to the table where your good friend, give me a sec. Where your good friend, oh, good night, Irene. Silly me, I left the wrong. Sorry. Oh, here we are. Here you are with Mr. Hegan, or Hegar.
Hegan.
Hegan. Okay, so I got it the first time. I'm sorry. But yes, Mr. Hegan, you sat down. You sent your invisible servant out to, gather your friends back once you found a seal from a guild of rangers. And as the three of you were talking, you noticed that your one friend, Cannon, seems to have left. And he left you a note saying, went out for a walk. We'll catch up with you later. And it is at this very time, you three, that a very familiar face slowly toddles into the Golden Kangaroo in her usual toddling, wandering fashion. And you recognize this half-elf as your companion, the Cleric, Liz. Liz, sweetness, dearest Gnocchi. You have been wandering around for quite some time. You went to the nearby tavern, and you went to another nearby tavern. You went to the local cleric's temple, you offered alms, and you just sort of wandered around for a while. until your darling cat, Sylvie, gently tap-tapped at your shoulder with her paw, this darling little silver-shaded kitten, as she said, "Mistress, I believe your companions are looking for you. Don't you think it is time we return to them?"
Oh, wait. I thought they were in all these taverns.
They were. I'm explaining context. So your cat spoke to you saying, "Mistress, we ought to return to your companions." And it is with your kitten's directions that you ended up in the Golden Tavern. And after looking around a bit, you find your companions in a secluded little corner, with Hegan sitting and enjoying a meal to himself, and sitting across from him are Arianna and Riley, and they seem to be looking over some posters that they got from the notice board. What do you do? Do you sit down with them?
Atlas walks over and stands before them, bowing and apologies. Atlas apologizes for her tardiness.
Oh,
It
you are
happens.
fine.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
And as you are sitting down and joining your group, Atlas, you notice the 3 posters that are set across in among the table. You notice one reads as follows: "Shaman seeking help, 12 gold. Follow bear to my home." The second poster reads, "Missing Singapore cat, 73 silver reward. Return to Dame Josephina." And then last but most certainly not least, you notice a poster which reads, "Help wanted," in in bold red calligraphy. "The House of Gargoyles, 70 silver. See Olivia Grimshaw." Now, do either of you lovely dears want to tell Atlas what she missed out on while she was away praising her deity, the Lady in White?
Atlas is hungry.
Well, it just so happens,
Some
Atlas,
fair
as you were
toast.
as you are sitting down, Atlas, and you make the notion that you are hungry, a kindly human woman, motherly in age, walks over and says, "Oi, it looks like another one of you has joined the table. What would you like to eat, dearie? You're all skin and bones by the look at you." "We have
Atlas
shrimp
is
and
wondering if you would have any uh, clams.
clams." "Oh, I don't believe we have clams this time around, lass, but we do have shrimp and hot root soup for 3 copper. I can get you some roasted pheasant. A harvest salad for 3 copper. I can get you some smoked sausages. I can also get you some honey cakes or gingerbread. There's milk and honey, pomegranate juice, meat, cider, beer, and tea. We even have a fine pumpkin soup."
Atlas will take the soup and the smoked sausages. To be more specific, the pumpkin soup.
"Right. The pumpkin soup will cost you 2 silver, and the smoked sausage will also cost you 2 silver. Would you like anything to drink as well, love? You're rather pale looking, and you feel rather cold," she says as she takes her hand and she places them on your cheeks and then your forehead.
Atlas has brought her own source of hydration, so Atlas appreciates the concern.
"All right, then. I'll get you your order. Sit tight, love." And she goes off back to the kitchen, and the good smells coming from the kitchen are absolutely to die for. Which, meanwhile, I believe it was you, Arianna, who had Atlas's share of the pay, which is a total of 115 gold for Atlas.
Hey, Atlas. Here's your share of the gold for our last job we did.
Ah, thank you.
Good to see you. Where were you? You just kind of disappeared.
And
That's
as
not sure.
as you say this, from Atlas's pouch comes her little silver-shaded kitten, known as Sylvie, who climbs onto the table and gives a stretch and the tiniest yawn from her kitten mouth. As Sylvie says, Mistress went down to one of the other to the other taverns, kind of wandered for a bit, and then she found one of the local temples and paid homage to the lady in white. Pardon. We stopped at a fountain, and so I took a few drinks of the fountain water. I was rather thirsty. But typical fare for the mistress, find a tavern, pay homage to the lady, and sort of wandering, though I did find it a little odd. There seemed to be a well-dressed figure gentleman. I couldn't make out all of his details, but he seemed to be a servant of sort to a fine estate or a house. He seemed to be looking for people while he stood outside of a carriage.
Hmm.
That sounds intriguing.
Atlas believes she got lost at some point.
You did, mistress. But that's why that is why I am here. And I was able to get you unlost, she says as she gently pats your hand with her tiny little kitten paw. As she utters a very sweet Now, Riley, what do you do now that your companion has returned and you see her being served a lovely meal of pumpkin soup, smoked sausages, and with the soup are some very thick buttered bread rolls that are still steaming like they came out of the oven, fresh.
I still want to go talk to that bear.
Well, what do the rest of you say to that, my dears?
Why are you inclined to speaking with a talking bear, if you don't mind me?
Because I've never heard a joke from a talking bear before. I'd like to add it
Have
to the
you-
collection of weird jokes I've found.
Atlas would like to eat her food first.
I just want to save this kitty, but we can also do something else too. I don't mind. I understand. I just liked helping the young ones get their pets back.
I would definitely agree with you on the aspect of, I believe if a child has a missing cat, that would take priority over a talking bear. Besides, you can find druids anywhere that could probably do the same thing.
You may have
Well.
a point. But talking bear.
Well, Riley, your companions have spoken. It only seems logical that you all put it to a vote. And after all, there is the third poster.
There's also
Speaking of
what
the
the
House
cat
of
has told us
Gargoyles.
too.
Exactly, which the kitten's name is Sylvie. Am I right, Atlas?
You would be correct.
All right, I just wanted to make sure.
So here's what I would say. If we are to put this in priority order, finding a lost cat we can simply do on the way to the man with the carriage. The talking bear one doesn't really seem like a threat one, so that would probably be least priority. At least try to kill two birds in one stone.
Don't let the bear hear that.
So, are all of you in agreement?
Well, following a bear into the woods does sound interesting. The fact we had to follow a bear someplace seems a little weird.
Atlas is all right with whoever leads the way, she says as she dips her smoked sausage into her pumpkin soup.
Meanwhile, Sylvie partakes of the meal a little bit, enjoying a nibble of sausage and a few laps of the pumpkin soup, which are very tasty. And she even enjoys a little bit of buttered roll, and she purrs as she enjoys the meal, for it is very good food that clings to your ribs and makes you feel full and warm, and definitely gives you some hale and hearty energy.
To clarify, Atlas did set aside a separate plate for Sylvie.
Of course. But Sylvie is so close to you that she shares from your plate. After all, she's a very, very special kitten. Anyway, so you all are in agreement. Is that what I'm hearing? I want to make sure.
Atlas is all right with wherever the party goes.
I mean, I'm fine with whatever. Eventually, we'll get to talk to the bear.
Yeah, eventually we'll get to talk to the bear. Hopefully.
Well, slowly the time passes. It is now late in the afternoon, and one of you returns the poster in regards to the shaman back to the notice board. After all, someone else might be able to help this shaman with whatever trouble they are facing. Pardon me. I had some cosmic droughts before we started recording. Anyway, but you all pay for your meals and you all leave. Looking over the poster, you look over the details, and you come to realize that this cat named Juniper is missing from the Silvestri estate. And it seems to be a well-known cat. Hegan, what do you do?
Say, where did our indebted friend run off to?
We went for a walk.
Probably went to hide his tracks again.
Or with that woman he was arm wrestling.
Nah, I thought I heard the IRS coming in, so he had to skedaddle.
Well,
that would explain a lot.
it would. But what do you do now? You have this poster and you want to go and try and find this missing cat named Juniper. Do you ask around? What do you do?
We should probably figure out the last spotted. From there I can probably find a track or something.
Atlas wanders off again.
So, as you begin to try and wander, Atlas, your kitten Sylvie gently paws at your shirt sleeves. Mistress, we just returned to your companions. Would it not be best for us to stay close together? Especially since you have agreed to help find this missing cat.
Very
The
sorry.
void is hungry. The void is
Very
hungry.
sorry.
Don't worry, I'll feed the void. Anyway. So Sylvia looks at you, it's like, with her pretty blue gold eyes. We ought to stay together, mistress. After all, you just now rejoined your companions.
Oh.
Or
Atlas
were you-
believes that the party was going this way.
Well, that does check out. That's why you have me, so your companions are going this way. Sylvie says, and she points with her paw to where your companions are walking. So, What are all of you doing? You are all looking over the poster, and and Hegan suggests trying to figure out where where Juniper was where Jupiter was last seen.
Talk to every individual that we come across who has any vague memory of any of this specific cat in every detail that we can describe to said person.
Actually, I have another idea of what I could.
And what could you do, my dear
So,
Hegan?
going to clarify, I'm not splitting off from them. I'm just stepping outside and staying there. And I'm going to summon my owl Darius.
All right. So, now for clarification, you all are outside of the tavern. You walked out after finishing your meals and paying for them, so you are outside the tavern. But with your usual way of doing so, you summon Darius, your familiar, and with a thrilling hoot, he flies from the trees and lands on your shoulders. And with a graceful bow of his head, he asks, "And what would you have of me, Hegan?"
The poster has a description of the cat, correct?
It does. It has a well painted picture of this cat, and this cat is very sophisticated and refined in appearance, as many cats are. And on their neck is a jeweled collar of silver and sapphires. This cat belongs to a very wealthy estate, and it shows.
Atlas
shows
is
the
considering taking the collars.
Well, first we should figure out what we're dealing with, or who the cat belongs to after we find it, before we go, per se, sticking our fingers in places where they might get chopped off.
Yeah,
Well, we could always just glue them on.
Now, you know that the cat is to be returned to one Dame Josephina.
Dame Josephina. Does that ring a bell at all to Hegan?
I don't know. Roll me a history.
Alrighty. Do.
Giant.
Atlas believes she saw a mansion somewhere. She does not remember.
19.
Okay, so you recognize the name. You know it well. This name is deeply ingrained into your childhood given all the stories you were told. Dame Josephine, the matriarch and lady of the Silvestri estate. The Silvestris are a very wealthy family of powerful magic users. Enchantresses and enchanters by trade, often known for being in the business of fairy godfathers and fairy godmothers. They're a very benevolent, kind-hearted family, yet there has been trouble. They do have a history, just like all well-bred and well-known families have. And you know that Dame Josephine is simply the kindest and sweetest woman. She is essentially, as many like to say, she is the world's great-grandmama. She is kind to everyone whom she meets. She treats them like family. And this cat of hers, her Jupiter, is not only her familiar, but her closest and most dearest and treasured companion. She loves her cat very much. And so the fact that this cat could potentially have been kidnapped by someone, well, it doesn't sit right with you.
Hmm. Well, this is troubling then.
Why would
Do I
someone
know?
want to ransom a
Do
cat?
I? Is the part that's not sitting right with me the part of the fact that someone could capture and kidnap a familiar, or is it a different part?
That is the part. You don't know what has happened to the dear cat Juniper. But when an animal is missing, one of the possibilities is that it has, in fact, been kidnapped, or rather, in this case, catnapped. And you yourself, being such a kind, good person with a familiar of your own, and with a fondness towards animals, you know that kidnapping animals, even if you have even if you are doing it for a benevolent reason, no, that is not an excuse.
Atlas turns to Sylvie and asks her, Sylvie, can you track any scent of a cat?
Sylvie gives her paws a stretch and she says, I believe I could, but I worry for you, my dear mistress. Without me, you do have a tendency to wander. I do trust your companions, and Sylvie the kitten looks at you, Arianna and Riley and Hegan, and she says, if I were to go and try and track down Miss Juniper, would you all take care to keep an eye on my Mistress Atlas for me, lest she wander off? I hate to ask it of you, but there is a limit to my powers that I have.
That will be fine. I will
That's okay,
send
no problem.
Darius with you also to take to the skies and help your search.
And Darius bows his head gracefully and says, as you wish, my lord. Lord, I will go with the cat. And Sylvie says, Darius. And the two of them go off together down one of the cobblestone paths to try and find a trace of where Juniper might be.
You know, we could always tie a rope to you so you don't get lost.
How tall is Atlas?
Atlas believes she is 5'8".
Yeah, we could definitely tie a rope to you.
Yeah, or I could go sit on their shoulder.
I'm not sure piggybacking it would be the best idea here.
Could work, though. So,
What? I'm tiny. I'm gonna look adorable no matter what I do.
either way, it'll work.
Atlas
So,
is confused on why the use of a rope is required.
So we can
now that
follow
you're
you.
familiars, so now that you're familiar, so now that Darius and Sylvie are off trying to track down Juniper, what do the rest of you do?
Well, while they're off searching, probably at best, if we can see, we can pay. How did I forget the name already? Man, I'm terrible at this.
Okay. After all, Hegan,
Uh,
you know quite a lot. It's definitely not a shock for you to have a little short-term memory loss. It wouldn't be unheard of.
It's best we pay her a visit. Ask when was the last time she saw Jupiter, and we will go from there. And if they return to us with info, that works too.
Oh.
Are we
Luckily for
aware
you,
of where Miss Josephine resides?
well, luckily for you, Hegan does know where Dame Josephina resides because, as a child, you did used to visit the Silvestri estate. Your parents, your families had good connections with the Silvestris, and so they would often visit. And of course, Dame Josephine, you were just a child when you first came to know her, but she doted on you. You did not want for anything, and every time you left, you always left with a present as well as a tin of gingerbread cookies. Because as it is not for nothing that people refer to Dame Josephine as everyone's great-grandmama. She is just that sweet of a person. And so, with the help of Hegan, you guys soon reach the Silvestri estate in about no time at all. And when I say it is an estate, it is a grand estate. There is a garden with grapes and apples and various flowers, as well as, of course, cucumbers, pumpkins, and hot peppers for eating. There is a large barn with various livestock within it. And then the Silvestri house itself is a big 3-story house that is painted the shade of a robin's egg blue, and it is just a wonderful place. Anyone who grew up here would be so happy and content to call it home. And of course, there are servants and gardeners tending to the place. All of them well fed, and they are quite content. And one of them, a sprightly wood nymph maid named Ivy, she is just coming back from picking a bushel of rosemary, and she says, Hegan.
Hmm.
And with lithe, willowy movements, she sprints over to you and she wraps her arms around you and hugs you.
Oh.
You've grown so much. So good to see you again.
I'm sorry. My memory's kind of pulling a blank right now, Miss.
Ivy. Ivy Willowbrook. We were partners in crime. I helped you go down to the river, and we caught frogs. And I also showed you how to fish.
My apologies. I've had my nose buried in a book for so long, I've nearly forgotten.
You always were like that, especially when you found the dame's library. And I see you've brought company with you. I hope you're here to help try and find Jupiter. The mistress has been beside herself lately with worry.
That I am here. Darius is out currently looking with another.
Splendid. Splendid. She takes your hands in hers and she gently pats them. Well, I will let the mistress know that you are here, and she will be so delighted to see you again. After all, the last time you were here, you were up to her hip bone. Well, it's wonderful to see you again. And to your companion, she gives her dress is her dress is slightly tattered and dirty from working in the fields, but she gives a very polite curtsy. Welcome to the Silvestri estate. We're glad to have you. And with that, she sprints off up the stairs to the front door to let the dame know that you all have arrived. Arianna, what do you do?
I'm gonna poke around more. Not actually picking up anything. More just looking around at everything. Just looking at how beautiful the place is.
Riley, are you doing anything?
No, I'm just following them.
Okay. Atlas, what do you do?
Atlas is purely fixated on the peppers.
So you notice that there are some peppers in the garden. They're thin and red, but you also notice some bell peppers. You maybe notice some ghost peppers, some drake peppers, and some very oddly shaped peppers that you've never seen before. That they're like gold and red and bronze, and the way they're shaped, they look almost like a skull and a candle flame mixed together. And this garden is vast, and there's even a sign you notice on the outside because the massive garden itself is fenced around, and there's a gate that you can open and walk through. And upon the void is rambunctious. But as I was saying, you notice that outside around the fence surrounding the large garden, there's a sign that says, "Eat what you will, but take only what you need." And you notice that there are various servants coming in and out of the garden fence. And you even notice the faintest outline of a scarecrow's hat peeking out from the garden because the gate is very tall. And so are quite a few of the flowers and trees.
Atlas looks around to try to find her party again, only to find it they're nowhere to be found.
Wait,
So
would I have
you-
noticed that
What?
Atlas got left behind?
We weren't moving.
That's what I was saying. You all were together, but I want all of you, save for Atlas, to make me a perception roll.
Ooh, I got this.
I got a 16.
16.
Got an 18.
All right, 16 from Riley, 18 from Hegan,
19.
19. Okay, so all y'all are alert. That food really did good for you. Plus your kind heart wanting to find a missing kitty. So as you all are beginning to make your way up the stairs to go greet Dame Josephina, you all notice it's like, wait a minute, we are short one. And you look and you notice that Atlas has been sort of wandering over to the garden gate and seems to be lured in by the smells of the fruit and the harvest that have been growing, as well as, of course, the smell of the sweet flowers. And there have even been a few butterflies flittering in and out, as well as some hummingbirds. It's just very... And we mustn't fault her for this, for after all, Atlas is a half-elf. And elves, in their nature, regardless of what breed they are drawn to nature.
Book, quick question.
Yes?
Do I know what happens when the only take what you need sign is broken? The rule of it? Or does anything happen?
Been here long enough, and you know that there are some sojourners and vagabonds who will come here. They will work for food, and they will be given a portion of harvest as a reward. And you know that some have been very decent, amicable, and will take only what they need to get them by for the day. And you know that there have been some that are greedy and will take more than what they need. And You've heard it whispered among the servants, especially around children, whether it be their own or children visiting from another family, that warn, if you break that rule, then you will have a horrible stomach ache, and it'll last you for 13 months. And some have said have warned against other afflictions or bad luck, or their legend has it that there is a quite the unpleasant boogeyman figure who protects Dame Josephine's garden, and if it finds any greedy ones in the garden, well, he doesn't deal kindly with them. In fact, he deals with them most cruelly. Whether or not that's true or not, as a child, you always knew better than to try and break that rule, but you know that Dame Josephine is just a very kind-hearted woman, and when it has been mentioned to her that someone has taken more than what they needed, that she has always responded with grace and poise, and then that is what they've taken. We still have our garden, and the garden shall produce more fruit. It is no skin off of my back, and they probably need it more than I do. So it's definitely up in the air, but you wouldn't be surprised if there was an inkling of truth to some of those rumors, whether it be the stomach ache, some other affliction, or the boogeyman that protects the garden.
That'd make one hell of a scarecrow.
Juniper, what is your character's name again?
Arianna.
Arianna.
Arianna? He says, very kind of a little panicked.
Yes?
I suggest you either stop Atlas or keep an eye. That sign isn't just an empty threat. And you're a lot faster than either of us.
Okay then. I see. She's gonna somersault down the stairs and take off out towards Atlas.
All right. So, as you do this, Arianna, meanwhile, Hegan and Riley, you make your way up the stairs where you knock upon the door and it's open and you are greeted by servants, and they bow their heads respectfully at you and they say, "Welcome, Master Hegan. It's nice to see you again." And they regard you very kindly because, well, you were always a very good child, and of course, anyone who is considered family to Dame Josephina is to be treated as such. And so you are treated with the utmost respect. You are also treated kindly, Riley, and you are guided inside. And you go through the kitchen and into the living room, where sitting reclining in a rocking chair and reading a book is a very, very elegant, she is very much aged, but she is still as lovely and as graceful as she was when she was a maiden in her youth. Her white hair is pinned up elegantly in a French twist, and she is wearing a simple but lovely gown, and she looks up from her reading and she pushes up her round spectacles and she says, "Well, bless my soul, Hegan." She smiles sweetly and she sets down her book and she gets out of her chair and she begins making her way towards you and she embraces you. And she kisses your cheek in that traditional grandmama fashion, and she says, "Welcome back to the Silvestri estate."
It's been a long time.
Indeed it has. My, you've grown to be such a charming young man, she says with a smile, and she says, "I hope you're here to help me find Jupiter."
Indeed, as soon as I found out it was Jupiter, made my way over here. Sent Darius out too.
Thank you, I greatly appreciate that. And will you introduce me to your friend? She says, motioning to Riley, and that is where we shall end it for the evening. But the story is finally underway. I'm very proud of you guys for making all this progress. This has been a wonderful adventure, my dears. But now it is time for us to part. I am Persephone Siren, and this has been me and my companions, Gnocchi,
Till the next adventure.
Juniper, Juniper.
Yes. Sorry.
We're saying goodbye now, my dear.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure seeing you again.
Nofuh,
And may you all have a good evening.
Shlab,
Arson is only allowed at Burning Man. Take that into account.
No! No! Wait, get the gasoline away! Get the
My
gasoline away!
It's literally Burning Man. What do you mean?
This has been a wonderful adventure. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next week.